Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase, a special web series where we'll focus on security use cases that customers can solve with Google Cloud. My name is Chad and I'm a product manager at Google Cloud. Today we'll be walking through one of the top questions we get from customers. What are the key security controls I should have in place for G Suite? So for the demo today, we'll be using a product called Security Health, which is available as part of the G Suite Security Center. The point of Security Health is basically to help you understand the various security settings that you should consider as you configure your organization. Each of these security settings within Security Health will show you if you're meeting our recommendation with this nice green checkbox, or if we have a recommendation to improve what you're doing with that setting. Keep in mind that every organization has different needs, different ways of configuring their settings, so you might not meet all of these recommendations, but it is important that you go through and carefully consider how you've configured your domain. And so what I want to do today is walk you through just a couple of these settings to give you an idea of what this might look like. So we're going to start with this drive sharing settings setting right here. And so we'll click on this, and that will take us to the spot in the admin console where we can adjust that setting. And here we'll scroll down. In our organization, we actually do have a need to share files externally, but we actually don't want to allow users to publish files to the web or make them visible to the world as a public file. So we're going to remove that and change that configuration in our domain. And just as simple as that, we've made our users a little bit more secure, our data a little bit more secure. The second setting that we want to look at is one of the Gmail settings called spoofing and authentication safety. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And again, that takes us to where we can adjust those settings. So these are actually really critical because they help you to prevent many of the common types of business email compromise or spoofing that we see frequently in email. So there's many different settings here. We actually recommend that you turn all of them on. These relate to attachments and detecting certain types of attachments that can get by scanners if you have them turned off. These look at links and external images, and then you have your spoofing and authentication, detecting things like spoofing of employee names or things that are similar to your domain names. So frequently we see spammers try to use things like a capital I for an L and replacing things like that. So it looks very much like your domain, but it actually isn't. Turning these things on helps to prevent many of those types of attacks. And then the last setting that I want to walk through with you is around two-factor authentication and security key enforcement. And so one of the nice things about how we have this set up in Security Health is you can actually click here and you can see a full list of the admins that you have in your domain, and that's both super admins and delegated admins. And you can adjust how these are, you can see how they're configured, and then you can easily go and ensure that security keys are enforced across all of your admins. Now, one point, we do recommend that you have two-factor authentication and specifically security keys enabled for all of your admins since they are such a sensitive group of users and they have so much power and so many privileges within your organization. So that's something to consider as you go through these settings. Again, we recommend that you review all of these and you make a very conscious choice about how you have all of them configured. And that very much will help you be in a better spot as you configure your organization. For those domains that do not have access to the G Suite Security Center and don't have access to Security Health, we do have some great documentation, and you can find that by doing a quick Google search for G Suite Security Checklist. And that will bring up the site where you can go and kind of audit your settings. It's a little bit less interactive, but still a great way to understand how you're configured and make some choices on how to better lock down your organization. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please visit cloud.google.com/security for more content from Google Cloud experts.